The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andrei and Brian. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Evolved Marketing Podcast. My name is Brian Brewer, along with my co-host, as always, Andrei Yermejev. It's going to be just us today, but we're going to go into some really cool things. One of the things that we're going to talk about today is anticipation of a huge book launch that is coming up. If you are online, if you're in the marketing game, and if you're not living under a rock, then you probably know that right around the time that this episode is being released, Alex Hormozi is releasing his, to my knowledge, second book or volume 2, and it's called $100 Million Leads. So a lot of people are getting really excited about that. Marketers are starting to hit me up in my inbox to promote that as well. So one of the valuable lessons that we're going to share today is the most valuable lesson that I learned from his first book, or volume 1, which is $100 Million Offers. And I'm going to tell you how this lesson that I learned for him is actually implemented into my business in 2 different ways. I use this lesson to create a new offer, but I also use this lesson to better position an existing offer in order to sell more of them, make it more attractive. So we'll get into that. But first, Andrei, how are you today, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Excited
So,
to be
so
back on the show.
yeah, so he's releasing a new book, Alex Hormozi, right? I
Yeah.
actually don't know much about him. I know he's been around for a long time. He blew up. I know he probably started in the fitness industry, right? Is that correct? And then he
Yeah, he
moved into
started
selling high ticket.
he started in the
And
fitness
it's like
industry.
everybody saw their the videos, right, that he makes. Like everybody started copying like that type of videos that he makes on social media just to make it look more high ticket, which is actually kind of cool. I think it's a great way of editing the videos. But yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've even seen that people are now selling the service of Hormozi style edits, with the yellow captions and stuff like that. He kind of really brought that into the mainstream. And of course, if it's working for him, it must be the secret sauce. So everybody copies it, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what a good marketer does, something great, and then people wanna emulate that same thing. You get me? And but that's the beauty about this thing, that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If something really works for somebody, go ahead and take it all.
Yeah,
I think when we
that's it.
went to Yeah, when we went to the mastermind the first time for Legendary Marketer, there was a guy named Austin. Do you remember Austin?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he does nowadays, but I also remember Meg and Ryan, right? Basically, Austin was Meg and Ryan's mentor, I guess you can say. And basically what Austin said to them was like, copy all my videos, like literally do everything that I do. And guess what? What happened? Meg and Ryan started being successful just because they were copying the same style of content that Austin was making. So that goes to show you that anybody that does well can become a mentor in a way and actually help somebody in their own special way. You're gonna get good things from somebody, you're gonna get bad things from a lot of people also, you get me? But you just have to basically be a little bit ethical and get a little bit of each mentor that you ever talk to and make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Because those people who have hit the point where they're successful and worthy of becoming mentors or teachers or what have you, they've probably tried hundreds, if not thousands of things that didn't work. And what happens is they find the 1 or 2 things that do work through trial and error. And that's the same thing with like a course. If you're thinking about taking a course, is the information on Google? Probably. But if you go on Google or YouTube, you have to sift through millions of hours of content from crap that really just doesn't move the needle very far to find the 1 or 2 golden nuggets that are the 20% that brings 80% of the results. Whereas that's what you get when you have a mentor, even if it's a virtual mentor, as I like to call it. I share the story how I met Alex Becker, who's a magnificent marketer, and he became my virtual mentor in the sense that I wasn't talking to him on the phone. He wasn't getting on Zoom calls with me, but I just studied him and tried to read between the lines and figure out what he was doing and why he was doing it. And that took me a long way in my business.
Yeah, and even though like there's times where you don't even know you're a mentor, you get me? And then you start getting hit up by so many people. Hey, you inspire me. Hey, thanks to your, like, for example, thanks to your course, like everything is clear, crystal clear. I'm able to actually move forward. You get me? Instead of just getting stuck in the little bubble. Especially when you created your 6-figure funnel, a lot of affiliates were using that funnel. You get me? And it's not like maybe you did promote it a little bit, but at the end of the day, everybody just started using what worked,
Yeah.
and that put your name up there in the legendary marketer community.
Yeah, a lot of people copied that funnel. I say that, funnel's done 7 figures, but that funnel's probably done 5, 6, 7 million in sales just from the people who were using it, and maybe more, because I know at one point, it seemed like everybody was using that funnel. And I still get emails in my follow-up from lists I joined just to kind of keep an eye on the market. We're like, hey, wait a second, I wrote that email. It might have been 3 years ago, but people are still using them. And I'm, to be clear, totally cool with it. That's what I want, right? We can all work together to kind of take the path of least resistance. And then it's interesting because then over time, I move away from something and somebody else moves in and takes my spot and blows my records away and becomes the top affiliate. Now, if you look, everyone's copying their funnels, but guess what? It still works. They found the magic, the secret sauce, the right combination of things, the right levers to pull, and they did all the hard work. So, ethically model them.
Yeah. That got me thinking right now, because there are a lot of affiliates right now that have modified their funnels in their own little way. But something that I noticed right now in the business, in the market, is people are not putting a bridge page video anymore. You get me? And I don't know why, because that's exactly what I was taught from the beginning. You have to put it, because in my opinion, you wanna be able to, the people that go in your funnel wanna be able to basically trust you in a way. And you, by making the video, it actually makes you look like a real person and not just somebody that wants to take advantage of somebody that it goes on your funnel. So I just don't get why they would just take it out, and I'm not saying that it's not working, because they are making money, but I just don't know why they switched it to take it completely off. Maybe you have an insight about that.
Yeah, I think they're doing marketing maybe a little bit different. When I say they, I'm talking about the top affiliates, who also happen to be the people that everybody are modeling or copying or emulating. Is the top affiliates now are doing more of a social selling type thing, where they're actually selling more from social media than I typically ever have. If I am creating content on social media, I try to obviously have those moments where I'm, showing results and stuff like that, because that's part of the deal. Once you achieve them, you may as well leverage them, but also trying to educate and get people to start down the path. Well, if I create a short little educational video that's 30 seconds that says, hey, here are the 3 things that you need to be an affiliate marketer. You need traffic, you need a funnel, and you need follow-up, whatever. People might be like, oh, that sounds like a simple business model, but they didn't really have the opportunity to learn who I was in that short video. So that's why I use more of a bridge page strategy if I'm doing an affiliate marketing campaign, because I want to intrigue people with the opportunity. And then after they say, yes, that sounds great, I want to learn more about that opportunity, then I need to introduce them to myself. So that's what I do in a bridge page video or a secondary page on a funnel, where after they enter their email, I'm going to introduce myself, share my story, what sort of pain I was in, what I discovered, and why it worked, and how you can do the same thing, right? Like those are kind of like the 5 key points of a bridge page video. And then, of course, a call to action, here's what to do next. So that's where I'm introducing people. Whereas alternatively, the people on social media who are crushing it, who are not using a bridge page video, they're simply collecting emails and sending them over to the offer. They're doing more of a pre-sell of the offer and an introduction into their life. You know what I mean? So people are getting to know them on Instagram or on TikTok, and they're learning about the opportunity on Instagram and TikTok. So by the time they get to the website, they don't really need to learn any more about the creator or the offer. They're just like, okay, I'm ready to see what this is all about with my own eyes. Both strategies work, obviously. I think with the social selling, and where you kind of build this people of followers online, is probably more effective in the short term. What I mean by that is, man, if you can just go viral and get lots of views with videos where you're sharing your story and your vulnerabilities and your pain, and you're talking about the actual offer, and you can actually get people to watch those, then you're going to make a whole bunch of money, right? Like it's going to be crazy. The problem I've discovered over the years is that only lasts so long because people will get sick of hearing your story. Then when you start talking about the offer or the thing that changed your life that people can buy, eventually you're going to draw haters, and that's natural and that's fine. But then usually what happens is the creator will then go attack the haters because that gets reach, right? Anytime that banter, that fighting back happens, there's interest, so that gets a lot of reach. But the only thing left after that is, and they disappear into insignificance, right? It's really hard to keep that sort of thing up for years. It's really hard to sell on social media for years. And like I've said in the past, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I think it's because I lead more with value, and maybe I won't make as much money in 1 month in month 3 with a new campaign. I'd rather continue to make money for the next 30 years. And like I said, I'm not dogging that strategy. It's just I don't think I could sustain it. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's so much you can say about your story. You get me? Like eventually you're gonna run out, and people will already hear it. So when that point hits, what are you gonna make content about if all your base was your story? You get me? You have to kind of like think outside the box in a way, so you can retain those followers, retain that engagement. Because if you just keep talking about yourself, you'll never make it about them. You
Right.
know? So that's where I guess it makes sense, because the people that I have seen on creating content, they do talk a lot about themselves, which is different because before it was all about you.
Right.
When I first
Right.
started making content, it wasn't about me. Yeah, I would, I would set it up in different ways. For example, one day I will make a video about me. The next day I will make a video about selling. The next day I will make a video educating people. You get me? So it wasn't always about me, but I feel like now everything is just like me, 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 me. Look what I got. Look what you don't have. Or like, like look what I'll be able to buy. And it's just like, it's not the same anymore, And then you're right. Like it gets to the point where it's gonna stop, It
Yeah, and that's the
will
thing.
end.
I equate it to like celebrities. Like if you think back, I happen to be 40, what am I, 43? Yeah, 43 years old. So I think about all the celebrities I've known over the years, and very few of them have been around my whole life. You know what I mean? Like Julia Roberts has been around forever and is still relevant. Matthew McConaughey has been around forever and still relevant. Some of those Brad Pitts and George Clooney's have been around forever and still relevant, but they're the exceptions, right? Think about how many celebrities have come and gone. Think about how many one-hit wonders there are in the world. Think about how many people burn out from the industry because they just can't keep this up. And that's really just the parallel of marketing, that celebrity factor. And that's what these people are creating. These people who are super successful right now, they're creating a celebrity factor. But eventually it doesn't matter. Like if your celebrity factor is look what I got, look how much I made, eventually people start to come blind to that because yeah, it's interesting when you go from making nothing to $10,000. Then it's interesting when you go from making $10,000 to $100,000. And then it's just mind blowing when you make $200,000 in a month. But after that, they just become numbers, right? It's like you could say, I made $40 million this month. And now people are like, that's impossible. And then they tune out, or yeah, it's all the same crap. And it's just not sustainable. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that if that's your strategy, because don't get me wrong, if you can pull it off, going from making nothing to making $1 million in a year will change your life. But just understand, like, hey, eventually, sometime in the future, you're going to have to shift a little bit and you're going to have to pivot because that same old stuff just doesn't work. You lose the beginner's advantage. You lose the newness of it. You lose the, hey, look how fast I went from nothing to something, right? Like that doesn't work for me anymore. I say, yeah, I quit my job in 2016. That may as well be 100 years ago. So you have to pivot and you have to evolve your marketing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, now I'm focusing 100% in my Spanish course, my Spanish program, helping a bunch of students nowadays. But I wanted to test something out, right? So now that we're talking about it, oh yeah, the celebrity status might finish. I think in all my accounts it finished for me on English in English. You get me? They all finished because I had three Instagram accounts. They were going crazy, bonkers, and then they just stopped. Right? I had four TikTok accounts. They were going bonkers, and then they stopped. So now what I did was I deleted all of them. I was like, I don't want those videos to keep going the algorithm for something that I'm not focused at anymore. You get me? So my Instagram's 58,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 20 something thousand followers. I just deleted, and it didn't even hurt me. You get me? I was just like, all right, I'm done with these accounts. These are the past now. You get me? And now what I did was I created everything from scratch. I want to see like where it takes me. What happens when you can just easily just delete all your accounts, because I don't see followers as something that I need to get more followers. I need to maintain my followers. Everything's about the followers. The account number. That's just not. It doesn't interest me anymore. Before, yeah, it was exciting having so many followers, but it just got to the point where we were just like, why? Like I was selling way more money. I was selling way more online than other people that had way more followers than I did. You get me? So the follower count shouldn't matter to anybody. But yeah, that's something that I just recently did. I think like a week ago, I deleted everything in English except my Facebook for English. I still have that Facebook, just because we have the podcast. I'm able to talk to guests, and stuff like that. But other than that, everything is deleted in English at least. And now I'm just gonna see where it goes. Like I might start creating content again in English and see where that takes me. See if what you said is right about like the beginner's advantage. Like maybe just wipe everything off, start from scratch, and I want to see if I'm able to get to that level again. Just by starting from scratch, not utilizing my email list or nothing. Everything's just from scratch, and I have the time to do it. So
Yeah.
it's just something like a side project now. And it's funny because before that was my main thing, and now it's just my side project. I have other
Yeah.
thing that is my main thing. You get me?
Yeah, it's really cool, the evolution of it all. And if I think back to all the accounts that I've created, I've grown YouTube channels to 75,000. I've grown TikToks to 160,000. I've grown Facebooks to 120,000 or whatever. And if I look back on those journeys, the majority of the money was made in the initial growth, right? Like, so if anyone's listening to this thinking I can't make money because I don't have followers or a following on social media, like that's irrelevant. Like all the money is made in the rise, in the initial upstart. And then from there, that's when you pivot and it gets a little bit harder, but you have more advanced skills, and that's where you kind of nurture, your leads long term. And that's when you get people who've been on your email list for 6 years, and that's down the road. But in the initial stages, man, the majority of the money is made in the initial growth. So to take advantage of this. So really cool stuff. Hopefully I can make it through this episode, Andrei. I'll tell you what, I was out in the woods this weekend, and my buddy has a cabin out in East Texas. It's on 30 acres, and they recently, and I say recently, in the last 5 years, started going back to it, meaning it was a family cabin that kind of went by the wayside for a dozen years or so. So we were out there trying to clear trails again, cut trails through the woods, and man, I got beat up, man. We were taking down vines and cutting down trees and moving logs and stuff like that. And I'm just beat up from head to toe. I got stung by yellow jacket 5 times. And one time when I was out there, and it made me think about this entrepreneurship journey that people decide to go on. Because when we were getting ready to cut those trails, Andrei, I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. I think we can make it back to the creek. Well, we're going to make progress, and we're all pumped up, and we got our chainsaws and our machetes, and we're going to tear through this trail. And the idea is we want to be able to get dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and side by sides down to the creek so we can go down there and hang out without having to walk all the way back there. So we're getting ready to cut this trail, and we're all excited. Then we start getting into it, and one guy gets stung, and then I get stung 5 times, and my legs are bleeding, and it's 97 degrees, and we're sweating our asses off and stuff like that. And we're just miserable at this point. We make it down to the point where we're right by the creek, and we're just like dead. I mean, our clothes weigh 50 pounds from all the sweat, and we're chugging waters when we thought we were going to be drinking beers and stuff like that. And we were wasted. I mean, like not drunk, but like just like worn out. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, if you would have told me at the beginning of this day that you're going to go out there and your legs are going to be bleeding and you're going to be sore and you're going to break 3 chainsaws and you're going to get stung 5 times, would you go out there and do it? I'd probably be like, I don't want to cut trails anymore. Let's just sit and watch baseball and smoke a brisket. But here's the thing. When we were done with that, we had this trail and it was awesome because we were ripping up and down in the 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff like that. So the reward was worth it. The beginning was exciting. The reward was worth it. But all the bad stuff happened in the middle. But we didn't know it was going to happen, right? I didn't know I was going to get stung 5 times. I didn't know I was going to, have blood running down my legs. But that's where people get stuck in this entrepreneurship game. They're excited about the opportunity to start a business, start a side hustle, quit their job. They're excited about the potential of the end result, making $50,000, $100,000 a month passively or semi-passively. But what they do is they psych themselves out by thinking about all the stuff that might go wrong in the middle, right? Oh, what if my content sucks? What if haters come out and rip on me and stuff like that, and all these things, and then they don't start. But you don't know what's going to happen in the middle, and it's probably going to be a little shitty at some point. But while you're going through it, it's not that bad. So just go out there, get excited about starting, and then just go out there and do the work and keep working, keep cutting that trail until you reach your destination, because you're going to feel damn good about yourself and you're going to have something pretty cool when you're done, and don't worry about the bad stuff.
Yeah. Wow. You got stung 5 times.
I got stung crazy. 5 times. And I also, while we were out there, I kind of cut back on smoking cigars. And while we were out there in the woods, I think I smoked about 5 cigars. So yeah, I don't know if I can talk. I might lose my voice. Yeah, but luckily the pain from the hornet or the yellow jacket stings has subsided. So we're doing all right. We're on the mend.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story too that happened to me. We and my buddies went to Corpus Christi. We went on a fishing trip in the ocean, right? It was great. We went there for the weekend. The night before, we had a couple of drinks, and in the morning we had to wake up super early to go to the pier, and so we can go and fish. And we rented a boat and everything, so we were out in the ocean, right? And we caught so many fishes that we caught like 20 plus fishes that day, and they were black drums. Those were the fishes that we were catching. But yeah, we had so much fun. Everything was great. Then we went back to the pier. We had some people caught the fish and fillet for us. We had the picture there and everything. But the thing about it is that the day before I was drinking, okay, so in the morning we didn't have any breakfast or nothing. So by the time we go back, I passed out right there on the pier. Like I just passed out right there, and then people were freaking out, and then I woke up and I was like, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I was just like right there on the floor. And it just reminded me, like, I had such a great time, you get me? Like, I'm glad it happened at the end, right? Like, not in the middle of the ocean, you get me? But at the same time, it's like, I enjoyed that whole day. That whole trip was amazing until the last ending of it, when we're about to go home. But it kind of reminded me of your story too, like you just, it's not like I was thinking, oh, what, I'm going to pass out. I want to just go home. You get me? No, I still went. I enjoyed the time. I have fun. And of course, I guess it's not a nice trip if nothing happens, right? Like something always happens when you go out on a trip, especially with your guy friends, right?
Something always bad's going to happen. And that's the same thing of building a business. Something bad's going to happen. I guarantee it. It's guaranteed. But
it could be at the beginning, it could be in the middle, or it could be at the end.
Probably, yeah, and probably multiple things are going to happen. You're probably going to get stabbed with a fish hook. One guy's probably going to get seasick, and one guy's going to pass out on the pier. But at the end of the day, you went through a journey, and it was amazing, and it's something you think about to this day. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with your business, man. If you go through the journey, like I don't think about all the bad things that have happened along the way. I don't think about the times that I was like, oh, maybe I should go back to the restaurant industry because I feel like a failure. None of that matters now. You know what I mean? It's just part of the journey. So let's get into the little thing I teased at the beginning of the show. And we're going to talk about my favorite lesson. And I'll hold this up on camera for anyone who's watching on YouTube, from Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. And one of the cool things that he shares, Andrei, that I use not daily, but anytime I'm going to create an offer or write a new sales letter for an existing offer or revamp the positioning of an existing offer, I always default back to this value equation. And have you read this book, Andrei, or have you not gone through it? Okay. Yeah. Like I said, he's got a new one coming out and everyone's going to be really excited about it. But this was an excellent book. This book is what I equate to Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, which is another book that I highly recommend. It's great for marketers, but it's delivered in a way that is actionable. It's not a bunch of marketing theory that may or may not be relevant to today's world. It is actionable information that you can implement into your digital business today if you go ahead and read it. And he talks about the value equation. So that's really, to set this up, let's talk about the whole point of selling something, or the easiest way to sell something, right? It has nothing to do with the price. You know, you're a high ticket affiliate marketer. I think you've sold, what's the most expensive program you sold, Andrei?
6,000, but with an upgrade of like 25,000. That's probably the one of the biggest ones that I've been able to sell.
Right. And was it incrementally or exponentially harder to sell that versus like a $2,500 program or $1,000 program?
It's the same. Exactly the same thing.
It's the same. The only differential is the value, right? What is the value that people are getting? And if the value outweighs the cost, then people will buy without hesitation. And that's why I think this value equation is so relevant and so important to your business. Because if I came up to you and said, Andrei, give me $100. I mean, we're friends, so you would probably do it. But say we didn't know each other, you'd be like, hey, F off, dude. I don't know who you are, But if I came up to you and said, Andrei, I will give you $1,000 if you give me $100 bill, you would absolutely just find the closest $100 bill, find the closest ATM, reach into your wallet, whatever, give me that $100 bill, because you're basically getting $1,000 in value for $100. Well, that's the same way we have to view our products. And let's be clear. This can be a product that you're creating from scratch, or this can be an affiliate offer, because if we're selling an affiliate offer, then our job as affiliates is to increase the perceived value of the product that we're selling. That way people buy from us. Now, this can be by adding bonuses or done for you funnels, or simply by wording and positioning and getting people to focus on aspects. So if you don't mind, Andrei, should I just lay out this value equation for the listener really quickly?
Go ahead.
All right. So the value equation, and once again, I'll put this kind of up on the screen here really quickly. And I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just holding up the picture in the book. But the value equation looks like a mathematical equation, right? Everything equals value. And that's the goal here, is to get the value as high as possible. That way we can either charge as much as we want, or that way we can make the price irrelevant. So the value equation has two areas on top, or two items on top of the line, and two factors or value proposition components on the bottom. And so the idea here is it's just like a fraction, and this is not going to be a huge math lesson. But the idea here is the two things on top, we want to get those as high as possible. We want to increase them. And the two things on the bottom, the two factors on the bottom, we want to decrease them as much as possible. So for example, if it was 1 over 1, that's 1 divided by 1, that equals 1. Well, if we take the top portion of this equation and we double it, we make that 2. Now we have 2 over 1, which is 2, right? Hopefully everybody's following that mathematical analogy. But the other thing we can do is we can take that number 1 that's on top. If we make the bottom number smaller, and let's make it a half. So now if it's 1 over 1/2, that still equals 2. So the way we can do this is increase the top. If we double the top, if we make it 2 over 1/2, now we have a value of 4. So we're increasing the value by increasing the two factors on top and decreasing the two factors on the bottom. And the two factors on top are dream outcome, right? What is the promise of the offer, right? So we want to raise the dream outcome. So let's say our product is a course that teaches people how to make $10,000. That's great. How do we increase that dream outcome? Well, maybe we say this will help you make $10,000 a month, right? That's obviously better than just $10,000. So we just increase the dream outcome. What if it's how to make $100,000 a month, right? And it doesn't have to just be monetary, but you see, the higher we increase that dream outcome, right, how to make $10,000 a month and quit your job, right? Now we're making the outcome sexier. So that's going to obviously increase the value because we're raising that. The other thing that's on top is perceived likelihood of achievement. And this is a big one here. How likely are people to get the result that you're promising if they go through your course, your program, or retain the service that you're selling? It can even be workout gear. How likely is this workout gear to give me a six-pack, right? Well, the more we can increase the perceived, which means the idea that the prospect has in their head, the more we can increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, the more likely people are going to buy, right? Because the analogy I've used in the past is, hey, if someone were to sell me a course that would guarantee me to win a marathon that would win me $1 million, I still wouldn't buy that course because I have no confidence in my ability to finish a marathon, right? So because I don't believe I'm going to get results, I'm not going to buy that thing. However, if you convince me that I can run a marathon because of X, Y, and Z, then I might be more likely to buy. And the same thing is true with affiliate marketing courses or any improvement offer you're selling. If people don't believe that they can get the results, they're not going to buy the thing, right? So do you have any questions, or did I come across clear enough on what the top two components are and why we want to increase them and how to do so, Andrei?
Yeah, it's almost similar as like the desire. You get me? The desire, you want to basically put that out there so people are able to want that type of thing. You get me? But the only thing I didn't understand was the bottom line. So you have like the desire on top and then the guarantee on top type of thing, like the opportunity, you're selling the dream type of thing on top. In the bottom, how do you measure that in the bottom?
Yep, absolutely. So those are the top two components. Those are the things we want to increase. Well, everything below the line, and I'll show this one more time on camera really quickly for you, Andrei, and for the listeners, so you can screenshot that if you're watching on YouTube, or pick up this book if you want. I highly recommend it. Down below the line, we want to decrease those things. And the two elements, I guess, is probably the best word that I'm looking for below the line, are time delay and effort and sacrifice. Right? So if we can reduce the amount of time it's going to take someone to get results, then they're going to be more likely to buy, because by lowering the amount of time, that's increasing the value of the offer, because we pay for speed, right? It's one thing to get a bunch of information thrown at us, but if you can teach me how to do something that's going to be worth $10,000 a month in my business, and you can teach it to me in 3 hours and I can implement it instantly, that's great. I've got 3 hours. Right. I don't have 6 months to go learn a new strategy. You know, I got things that are working, things that are going on. I don't have the time or desire to devote 6 months specifically to a tactic. But if you can tell me, hey, it's 3 hours worth of training, you can immediately implement it, and it's going to bring an extra $10,000 a month to your business. Well, that's easily a $10,000 offer now at this point, because if I can learn it today, implement it, and see my return in a month, obviously it's worth $10,000 to me. So we want to decrease that as much as possible within the constraints of the offer, right? We can't lie. We can't make up fabricated stories. Right. The other thing we want to do, the second element below the line, is effort and sacrifice, right? How much effort am I going to put in? Because it's just like hiring, a housekeeper to clean your house, right? We pay our housekeeper $140 a week, or she comes every other week, right? I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, that was more than she asked for, so we feel good about it. We gave her a raise after she was with us for a year, so we feel good about it. But to me, like, that means I don't have to deep clean my house. My wife doesn't have to deep clean her house. So the effort and sacrifice that we have to put in is nothing. So that easily to justify $140 a month, right? Like, that's no problem. Like, that makes perfect sense, because she dropped our effort and sacrifice down to zero. So that increases the value of her services. So that's kind of why, like you were talking about the funnels earlier, Andrei, I used the funnels that I created that were proven, that were one-click import, right? Someone could instantly import them and have a done-for-you funnel that was proven to convert for a specific offer. Well, I gave that away to people, not as a bonus to go buy the affiliate program that I was promoting. I just gave that away to people in order to incentivize them to take action on the affiliate program that I was promoting. And that's why it worked so well for my conversions. And that's why so many people used it, because you could one-click import the funnel. That means instead of taking a week to build your funnel, now your funnel's done in under an hour. That decreases the time delay, right, to start promoting your business. But also the effort and sacrifices is basically down to zero, or as small as it can possibly be, because you don't have to write the copy for the funnel. You don't have to figure out what page comes first. You know, I gave scripts for the bridge page, so it's like I don't have to figure out what to say. I dropped down the effort and sacrifice is to as low as possible, while also increasing the perceived likelihood of success for the client or the lead, right? Because they might think, oh yeah, this affiliate marketing thing sounds great, and I think that product is valuable, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I just don't feel like it's going to work for me. Well, now they have this thing, which is this done for you funnel that is such a key component to affiliate marketing business that they're like, oh, if I have that one thing, then I'm going to be more likely to succeed. So that's how something as simple as a done for you funnel reduces time delay, reduces the effort of sacrifice, and increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, which in turn dramatically increase the overall value of the offer, and people are likely to take it up, because it's like spending $100 to get 1,000, right? So that's an incredible lesson, and I recommend people dive into that value equation, because it breaks down the 4 components or the 4 elements that you really need to focus on to create an offer or to reposition an existing one.
It's super interesting the way you broke it down. I mean, because I have seen this before, you get me? But that was just the way you broke it down. It just made sense how it could be a great offer, you get me? Because out of a program that I used to promote for like $6,000, it's a lot of money, $6,000 to invest in something that might be new for you, you get me? But one of the things that that person did was he took care of all the tech side for you. You get me? You didn't have to worry about creating the funnel. You didn't have to worry about creating the email autoresponder, editing every single email with your affiliate link, you know, putting your picture here, your picture in the funnel. Everything was already taken care for you because you invested at $6,000. So it's like he's raising the price and he's lowering people's what they have to do to get to the equation, the end of the equation type of thing.
Right.
You get me? So it's
and let me ask you
similar.
this. How long did he have that funnel turnaround? Was it 2 months till he got you the funnel, or was it closer to like 2 or 3 days until your funnel was built?
Oh, it was fast. It was fast. Probably less than a week. Yeah, less than a week. One program, it did take a little longer, but for that guy, he had it set up correctly. I mean, you will get your funnel in, I think, less than a week. Yeah, and I think less than a week is a great time. You get me? Because in that week, you can consume what's on your course, on the course. You know, you're consuming the modules, you're learning, and then one day you get an email, hey, here's your funnel, you're ready to promote. You get me? Just like that. You want to make money? Here you go, start creating content, here's your funnel.
Right.
And
it's done.
that's what made the price worth it. You get me? It made it so much worth it, because you literally were learning, not doing as much, but you were getting those results that you wanted by investing the initial $6,000. You get me? Another thing that happens to me also, like you had the example of your housekeeper that comes once a week or every other week. Same here. I have people that have gardeners in my house because I have a big backyard and I have a big front yard, you know, so I have a lot of grass to cut. And can I do it? Of course I can. You get me? It will take me probably 8 hours in a day just to get it all done, like maybe a weekend, you get me? But do I want to spend 8 hours of my weekend doing that? Hell no, you get me? So I have people coming every other week just to take care of the lawn. The lawn looks amazing every single week, you get me? I don't have to physically do it, but it's just like my time is more valuable than me spending 8 hours outside cutting my own grass, you get me? And it's not saying that I'm lazy, it's just like I can spend that time doing better things, you know, but being more productive with different areas of my life.
Yeah, and if it was something that took you 30 minutes, it's probably easier just to do it once every 2 weeks than to worry about hiring. But if it's something that takes you hours, then it's justifiable to find someone to do it, make sure they show up, pay them, vet them, and all that stuff. So yeah, they took your effort and sacrifice and really dramatically reduced it. And when you were talking about the funnels, Andrei, And the programs that you promoted that were $6,000 or in that neighborhood, and the funnels were done for you completely, which is effort and sacrifice zero, and delivered to you in a week, ready to go. That's time delay to as low as humanly possible. That's what increased the value. And if you look back to my example, right, we talk about dream outcome, perceived likelihood of success, right? We want to increase those. We talk about time delay, effort, and sacrifice. We want to decrease those. That's what increases the overall value, some sort of combination of that. What a lot of marketers do is they focus solely on the dream income, right? And we see marketers in the space, hey, I'm making $400,000 a month, right? That's an amazing dream outcome, but they're only focusing on increasing that one thing. And that is effective, but there are better ways or more efficient ways to increase the value, because that's the ultimate goal. The value they're promoting is, hey, if you take this, you can learn how to make $400,000 a month, right? Maybe they're not saying that directly, but that's what they're implying. So that drives up the value. But when I talked about the funnel and everything that did, that lowered the things on the bottom, the time delay and effort and sacrifice, and increased the perceived likelihood of success or achievement. So I focused on the other three and got the same desired result. And that's the key, is when you're looking at that equation, and I'm not going to go through it again, you can go back and watch it or just Google it and you probably find it online. Increasing the top is powerful, but the best companies in the world, as Alex says, work on decreasing the bottom, because that's where you're going to get the most return. Like you've talked about time delay. What's Amazon known for? Free 2-day shipping, right? Now they do shipping where you can get it same day or you can get it delivered overnight. They're decreasing the time delay that it takes to get your product so they can charge a premium, right? Amazon is not known for being the cheapest e-commerce retailer, but if you order it, it's going to be easy, right? I don't even have to put in my credit card. I just hit buy now. My address is already in there. My credit card's already in there. So there's no effort and sacrifice. They always have what I'm looking for, so I don't have to search different things. They have all the reviews right on that. So the effort and sacrifice of buying is easy. And I'm going to get it same day, next day, or in 2 days at the very latest. So Amazon has focused on decreasing the bottom, and that's how they've increased their value proposition. So as a marketer, we can always do that. Even if we can't get somebody $1 million a month results and we're selling an improvement offer to other businesses, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to focus on that. We don't have to even focus on our own results. As beginning marketers or newbies or whatever you want to call it, we need to focus on decreasing the bottom of the equation. How can we help them put in less effort and see results faster? And that's what increases the value, and that's what gets people to buy. It's as simple as that.
Wow. I definitely have to buy that book. What was the name of the book? Especially for everybody.
Absolutely. So the book is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. And you can just Google that and find it. You can probably get it on Amazon today for $14.99.
That's his first book? That's his first book?
It's his first book that did well. I don't know if it's his first ever book, but yeah, it's the only book I have from him. Or I think there's probably an offer somewhere. Maybe if you go over to his website, acquisition.com, you can probably buy it for like 99 cents. And obviously he wants your customer information and the ability to contact you. But it'll probably take you 4 or 5 days to get it. So once again, there's the value proposition. If you want it today, you can probably order it on Amazon, pay $12 and it'll be here tomorrow. But $100 Million Offers, Alex Hormozi. One interesting thing that he talks about is if you make an amazing product, then your customers will market it for you. And I think he spent a year or two writing this book, but here we are on the podcast recommending it. No affiliate links, right? No kickbacks, no benefit to me other than to provide you and the listener with value that can help your business. And he's right. I just marketed the hell out of it for the last 20 minutes. And
and you mentioned earlier, in the podcast in the beginning that he is making a different book and a new book, right? Do you have any idea what that one's going to be about, or what kind of offer it's going to have?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be tied together. But yeah, it's going to be $100 Million Leads is the name of it. I think it comes out in August or something like that. But I think it's going to be more about traffic generation, right? Not just from a standpoint of, hey, here's what you need to say in your videos. It's more like, what do you need to do to get people to pay attention to you? It's like I offer free courses. It's been working for me for 7 years now. It's because the perceived value of my lead magnet is so much higher than everybody else's that people pay attention to my content. They engage with it, so that boosts the algorithm, and they come over and get on my list because they want my free course. So now I have a list of people who I can market to who also trust me, because instead of selling them something first, I gave them free value that actually helps them get results. It's not just a webinar or a sales pitch. It's the free course model that I've been using for years. So I'm excited for that. I think it's going to tie into a lot of what I do. So because of that, I think it's going to really help me level up the game and in my game and in the way I market. So it's going to be really exciting when it comes out. I'll buy it for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this one right now after I finish this podcast, because I've been slacking, man. I've been slacking on like reading. I always tell myself I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read at least. That's one of the things that I've been slacking. Just read, and I don't know why. Like I have books, but it's just like I can't find that time to do it. I'm just not used to reading from a long time ago. I was never good at school. And stuff like that. So I feel like that has an effect of why I don't like reading like today. But I definitely want to get into reading more in order for my brain to like get to learn more things, and it's like an exercise for your brain as well. What other books do you recommend for people to read?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like marketing books, I mean, I always say, anyone who's wants to be a digital marketer and wants to promote improvement offers or their own coaching services or an affiliate offer, like an affiliate marketing course or digital marketing course or anything, the most actionable book or the most relevant book to the way we market these days on social media, not through paid ads, but through content, is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And specifically, you go through this, it's a great book, but one of the things that I like the most that is really valuable, and I think it's actually on page 23, and I was right. That's how much I've recommended this to people. And I'll kind of hold it up to the camera here. And when you're first getting started, right, and you've never created content and you've never built an audience and you've never built a following and you've never been a leader in the space, it's like, what do I say, right? What do I do? I don't know why is anybody going to listen to me, right, is a common fear that a lot of people have. And on page 23 of this book, it's a great book beyond that, but on page 23 of this book, he talks about one sentence persuasion. And basically, how do we almost instantly build a bond, build trust, and really establish our authority as marketers? Because that's kind of the number one goal, is to sell yourself and then come around and sell your product. And, I'm not going to go through the whole couple of pages here, but basically there's 5 things that you can do in order to get people to kind of instantly bond with you, right? Be like, oh, I like this guy or girl. Because, right, that's what we're doing as marketers. Like, I like this person. I'm going to pay attention to them and then probably buy their stuff. I mean, you use this in your marketing a lot, Andrei. I mean, you're a lot more likable than I am in your content. You're like, you're funny, you're entertaining, you share your story a lot better than I do. So you're doing this, right? Like people are like, I like this guy. And then they go buy your stuff. But the 5 things you can do straight from the book here are: you can either encourage people's dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, or help them throw rocks at enemies. And I'll give a quick example of each of those. So encourage people's dreams, right? Like, people are told no all the time. Hey, can I do this? Starting from birth, kids want to run with scissors or jump on the couch or eat spaghetti in the living room. It's like, no, you're not doing that crap. You know what I mean? So people are just told no. Can I have ice cream for dinner, Dad? No. You know what I mean? So we're told no at an early age. But if we tell people yes, right, they instantly like us. Like I always say, like, man, speed limits tell me how fast I can drive into the office, 40 miles an hour. But if someone said, hey, you can drive 100 miles an hour and we're not going to pull you over, would I like that person? I'd be like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? That would be great. Now, I don't want to endanger anybody's life, but, assuming the streets were cleared and, like, yeah, this police officer is awesome. Or, if you tell people they can, hey, you want to start a business, you want to help other people succeed, but you don't have results yet. It's okay, because you can just teach them, even if you're one step ahead of them, you can just teach them to get to the step you're at, and they're going to follow you, right? So you just showed people like, oh, I don't have to be an expert in order to enter this leadership game. You encourage their dreams. Justify their failures is the next one. Well, you've probably tried a bit to make a business in the past or build a business in the past, and you failed. Why? Because you didn't have the right business model. You were trying to do too many things as a beginner. That's why you should start with affiliate marketing, right? I just justified your failures. It's not your fault, right? The reason you didn't succeed is because you were trying to do drop shipping, and there's like a million things you got to do with a drop shipping business.
Yeah.
If you would have started with affiliate marketing, you probably would have been successful because you only have to focus on marketing. It takes so much off your plate, right? Just justified the reason that you failed. You're like, I like this guy now. I'm going to follow him. Allay their fears. We can do that through our story. Man, when I was getting started creating content, I looked like a hostage. I was so scared to create content. As a matter of fact, I was embarrassed to create content in front of my family. So I waited till my wife took my kids to my parents' house for a week before I created my first YouTube video. And when everybody was out of the house, I set up the camera and then I put the lamp behind me and I stood with the fireplace in the back because it was a cool background, I guess. And I just created my content.
And you still felt uncomfortable.
I felt uncomfortable, but you know what? It's made me millions of dollars since then, and I got better at it. See, I'm allaying their fears because people are scared to create content. Or I could say something like, hey, don't worry. The reason you're scared is because you're worried about what people are going to think of you. Just make it about them, and it takes all the pressure off. How can you help them? Right? I'm allaying their fears. Confirm suspicions is a good one. That one works really well. If I were to say to you, Andrei, most of these gurus who are making $400,000 a month are teaching one thing, but they're making money in a completely different way. I'm going to show you what they're actually doing, right? I just confirmed your suspicion because you're like thinking, no, there's no way that these people are making six figures just by going through a $5 course or whatever, right? I thought so, right? That
like,
active.
It's like, I know what you're thinking type of thing, right? So before 100%. they give you the objections, like, I know what you're thinking, that this might be a scam or something like that, So it's like you're already telling them, like, I know what you're thinking. You get me?
Right. Yeah. If I were to start off a video with most online courses are scams, people are gonna be like, yep, that's what I thought. I knew it. Even though obviously it's not true. Some are, of course, but for the most part, they're not. It's just people don't implement on them. But if you can confirm their suspicions right away, you got them. And then basically whatever you come in and slide in afterwards is going to seem like the answer because like you said, you were inside the conversation that's going on inside their head, right? You were in on it. So that builds a strong bond. And the last thing is help them throw rocks at enemies. If I were to start a video and said, man, I got taken for $10,000 by a greedy guru when I was first getting started, and I made it my mission to help people get real advice for free so they don't get screwed by greedy gurus as well. The fact is we're throwing rocks at the greedy gurus, and people love that. And you have to use those, especially the negative ones that confirm suspicions and throw rocks at enemies. You have to use those ethically and in moderation because you don't want to become the marketer who is always complaining about other people, at least in my opinion. Because then you're going to attract.
Don't want to be that person.
You probably have a couple people in your mind that you can think of right now.
You too.
Like, yeah.
I was like, okay, we both know who we're talking about right now.
Yeah, there's probably 2 or 3 people that we can both, if we were to write them down on a piece of paper, not tell anyone, we'd probably hold them up and they'd probably be the exact same. But we're not going to do that.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Also, another tip I can give people, about just everything that we've been talking about recently is when you're recording, when you have to record yourself every single day. That's a thing that you have to do in order for you to get better. And while you are just recording yourself every single day, do it in different places. So that's one tip I can tell you. Do it in public. Do it at the park. Do it when you go to the pool. Do it at the grocery store. You get me? Nobody will tell you anything. Nobody will come at you, hey, are you a TikToker? Nobody's going to say that to you. You get me? Just do what you got to do. And that's going to help with your personality, which is there's three things that I actually do. That's gonna help your personality. So if you think that, yo, I'm a boring person, you just need practice. You get me? So that would help your personality. And the second thing is you're gonna look more genuine. You get me? So you're gonna look like people can trust you by just being a regular person. So you can mess up. If you mess up, you can still post it. You get me? It doesn't have to be perfect because that's what people don't like perfection, especially when you just are starting something. You get me? If anything, people that you don't know are gonna support you even more than people that know you. Okay. And then the last thing that another thing that I can give is you have to be willing to help. You get me? Even when you have no followers and you get one comment, give it your all to that one comment. You know, try to talk to that person in a way where you can that can be a person that's gonna be there in the future as well. And I'll give you a perfect example. Like right now, I have a person that is helping me with my program, he's basically one of my students, you get me? But this person knows me since January, I think, of 2020, or sorry, 2021, like a month or 2 months, maybe 3 months after I started my business. You get me? And I helped him in the beginning how to start this business and everything. And then from there, of course, he was in charge of his own life, right? Like he just went his own way. But then 3 years later, me creating this program, that person is still there. That person came back. Hey, do you remember me? And I was like, yeah, I remember you. Because he was that one person that I gave it my all. You get me? And he even told me, yeah, like I look back at my old messages when you were helping me. And that was before I had the results. You get me? I gave my all to that one person. And now that person is basically my number two guy. He helps me with the Facebook group. He helps me motivate people. And it's just like those connections. You never know where those connections are going to take you and how those connections can help you in the future.
100%. And even just from a more selfish standpoint of a direct monetary reward, it's like there's people every now and then I'll look at some of the buyers of my program. Some of them are people who've been on my list for 6 years who've never purchased anything from me. But finally, it was just like, well, shit, I've been watching him for 6 years and I've seen his progress and I've seen people go through his program and get results. And obviously not everybody does because like you said, people are in charge of their own lives, but there's a lot of people who've gone through my trainings that have made significant amount of money. And then they see this enough and they're like, well, I have to take action. And basically they've just been sitting on the fence for that period of time. Now, not everybody takes 6 years to convert. That's an extreme example. But when you give it all to people in the beginning, like they're going to jump into the pile of people on the fence. And when you have 10,000 people that are on the fence, eventually they're going to start coming over and coming to your side. And you really you still create content because you want future growth and but if I never created another piece of content again, I could probably sustain myself for at least 6 to 10 more years just from the list of people who've been following me and reading my emails for years. Now I probably have to up my offer a little bit and make it a little more expensive. But the point is, it's like, that's when things get really good. That's when the snowball effect kicks in.
Yep. 100%. Well, it was a great time speaking with you, like always, Brian. Listeners, thank you for listening. Once again, if you guys have any suggestions at all, use that Instagram, or you can send us an email at support@evolvemarketingpodcast.com. Send us an email, any suggestions, any guests that you might want to see. We can reach out to them for you. You don't have to reach out to them for us. But yeah, just let us know. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week in another episode of Evolve Marketing Podcast.
Bye, everybody.